your significant
just
other
don't
like
sleep.
just rolls over and goes, "I love you," like prepare for battle.
You would say some shit like that.
24.50.
The Counting Sheep podcast is brought to you by Beck's Beer because Ruben brought it today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Counting Sheep. As always, I am your faithful ringleader, Sheep, aka Chris Barrio. Just for this podcast, my Christian name is AKA. Returning again to the podcast. To my left is
My nails are dirty.
my anus is bleeding.
I am a banana.
It'd be funny if you said your anus was dirty. I'm just saying.
Dirty blood. My name is Matt. How do you do?
My name is Elizabeth.
My name is Ruben.
AKA.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. My name is Ruben, Minister of Information.
And I'm Travis.
Huzzah!
I just want to make a quick side note. I think it's appropriate how you were backing up facts and adding on to the story I told last episode because you are the Minister of Information.
That's
so
my
you're like,
job.
by the way, this is how it really went.
Yes, because
So-
you've missed several important
I don't
details.
say several. I just skipped over things.
Several
that really matter.
important details were left out of the story.
If you can't,
Matt-
since you can't see, I'm cowering in fear.
And remember, if you say it enough times, a lie becomes the truth.
Yes.
Very good.
I would believe that.
So, the last episode, I think we left off on a cliffhanger. We were talking about your narcolepsy, or your uncanny ability to fall asleep in front of.
I think, to be fair, we had 4 different, I wouldn't say cliffhangers so much as teasers about my conditions. I think we're going to
Well,
go further.
narcoleptic is when you fall asleep like
Yeah.
in the middle of like playing cards or like holding your child.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about, though.
But I don't fall
But his uncanny ability is to do things while in his state of his comatose state.
So I don't have narcolepsy.
I think that's just
What,
extreme multitasking.
somnambulance?
What?
Somnambulance? So, like,
Somnambulance?
Is that what it
what's
is?
called?
I think it's like being able to do stuff while you're kind of asleep.
See, this is why I need you here to clarify my, stupidity or like my lack of knowledge, so to speak. Cause
Whenever Minister of
I'm
Information
fucking
can
idiot.
uphold.
exactly, because he's fucking texting.
No, I'm not.
Exactly. Anyway, so it all started. Your uncanny ability to fall asleep anywhere is it actually started on the way back. I know it was actually in Jersey, the Exit 102 shoot that we did,
Okay,
and
so
I had no idea.
so you're actually talking about me actually being able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sleep anywhere, not just fall asleep, but like able to sleep. in
Able
any
to sleep,
position.
standing up,
Yeah, yeah.
sitting down,
I wouldn't say
cross-legged
standing
against
up,
the
but I mean,
wall,
I could crunch into small
in your
positions
own
and just-
bed.
I sleep-
Apparently in Ruben's floor, drunkenly, while you
No,
break
no,
an
not
Irish
floor.
man's leg.
It's not what you think, people. But actually, to be honest, I prefer to sleep on couches now more than beds. Just how it is.
He has a night. Actually, to be fair, your bed at your place in the Bronx is terrible.
And my couch is amazing.
Oh, that couch
That
is
is
great.
one of the best couches ever.
A wonderful piece
So-
of furniture.
I agree.
The whatchamacallit, the point I'm trying to make is that the first time I ever saw you fall asleep, with your eyes open, was
Our
the
eyes
whole point
met?
of this. Is we were waking up very early to go to a shoot, and you had probably fallen asleep since I was the only one that needed to pay attention to the road, and
Oh,
I
wow.
thought you were dead.
What shoot was this one?
This is Exit 102 when everybody's crammed in the backseat of my car and you in the middle. So when I looked at my rearview mirror, I thought you were dead because your eyes were zombified, like you were in a zombified state.
I guess.
And no, it was like literally, it was to just describe for a theater of the mind. Bauer is in the middle of the car seat, in the back bench of my car, and he is sitting back, tall, standing straight up. His mouth is wide open, and his eyes are completely dilated and looking up to the ceiling. And I went to Mac and I started freaking out. I said, "What?" I was like, "Do you see this?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "Is Matt dead? Is he okay?"
We better dump on the side of the road.
He goes,
see
"No,
if
he
we're
does this all the time." I said, "What?" He does this all the time. He goes, yeah, don't worry about it. He just falls asleep.
I don't know why he.
And I'm like,
knows
Matt, I'm like, wake his ass up. It's fucking creepy. I can't drive like this.
Put a pair of sunglasses on him or something.
See, like Ray Charles or something like that. And I'm like, Matt. And you wake up, you're like, yeah. No, literally, it was just, you didn't react or blink. You just went, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, who are you right now? So then the other times it was really creepy because it was at night. Coming back from Scum, we had just had Chipotle, so you probably had the itis.
Oh, God.
It was late at night, so all the lamps were just illuminating the back seat, and every time I would look through my right-hand mirror, I would see flashes of just Bauer, like, wide-eyed, like, I'm like, Darren, you have to look into my right ear. I'm like, come over here. And he goes, that's the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, it's fucking creepy. And then the story that I was telling you is actually on Scum, where you fell asleep on the floor Indian style when we were doing the jib shot, where he comes down and screams no, where what's his face, Rich is screaming because his car just lit on fire. You fell asleep with the boom pole like this, Indian style, on the floor, and all you did is you press record. And the boom went up, we took the shot, and everyone was like, cut. And you're still sitting there like this, with the boom pole, and everybody's like, shh. Just watch. And you sat there. And we're like, Matt, and you were like this. Moving on. So it was
I really don't remember.
It was really funny.
I guess it makes sense.
But you were crazy, man. Like
I'm weird.
I don't know anybody who can do that. Like, it's fucking nuts the way that you can do that. It's so creepy.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get me any bed partners, I'll tell you that. Or sorry, I don't keep my bed partners after that.
That's probably why.
So not only do you talk in your sleep, as we heard from last episode, but you also sleep with your eyes open.
Yeah, dude, that's like the worst thing when like I'm getting to know someone and like I crash at her place or she crashes at my place for the night, and I honestly have the hardest time falling asleep because I'm thinking, what if she catches my eyes open, or what if I end up seeing something in my sleep?
No,
What if I mention Max?
Your significant
just
other
don't
like
sleep.
just rolls over and goes, "I love you," like, prepare for battle.
He would say. He would say some shit like that.
No, apparently it also. I think it runs in my family because one day. It was
The
me
whole
and
Bauer
Ruben.
class sleeps with their eyes open.
No. I'm talking about just the sleep talking aspect because you were at my house, Ruben, at one time, and my little sister, she was saying at one
She's
point.
worse.
I wouldn't say
Easy.
worse.
Easy.
I would just
In a
say
good way.
no.
Easy.
You're really pushing it.
Oh, so someone she was worse?
So, I was just mentioning about it in front of her. It's like, oh yeah, I've been having these problems where I just wake up and I talk in my sleep. So she's like, I did the same too one time. I was yelling, going, "That's not a sufficient rainbow!" And she wakes up and she's like, oh.
This
is your sister. Yeah, my little sister, yeah. And then, like, it's one of those things where you just wake up from a dream shouting something, and it's
I
like,
don't think I've ever woken up from a dream actually shouting anything.
yeah.
Like, I've woken up like Michael Myers, like in Halloween. I just stand up. Like, what, you know?
I've woken up covered in semen once or twice. I think it was my own.
That's lovely.
What? You guys never done that before?
No, I can't say that I've ever woken
ever
up
been
covered
wet-
in semen.
Wet
Yeah.
nightmare?
I guess you could
So
say.
wait, so not only are you waking up in semen, you're waking up in semen after having a horrifying dream.
Yep.
Well, I guess you could say he came too. That was so bad.
Well, I'm gonna depart for a second because I gotta go take the dog out to walk. But
Be back soon.
talk about whatchamacallit, your lack of sleeping. He can sleep anywhere, but your lack of sleeping is like
He
unprecedented.
needs a Tempur-Pedic pillow at all times.
My record is 8 days without sleep.
What?
Back when I was 19.
That should lose your mind after day 3.
Oh god, the shadows fucking shift, man. You start to see things out of the corner of your eyes. Like, what the fuck was that?
It's like
Was it
Sarah's-
just to see how long you do it? I mean,
I actually just crippling insomnia. I couldn't fall asleep. If I tried, I'd just end up like staring awake at like the clock. I pulled the the red digital clock just taunting you. I ended up like pulling it out, turning it off, throwing it around.
Do you remember?
Just
Do you remember
nothing.
from?
Couldn't do it.
Do you remember from Tomorrow Never Comes?
So
yeah.
He's like, I relate so much to that.
eventually, like, my only coping mechanism was I start just wandering through the town at night, just walking nonstop, just to kind of like get like into like a zone state where I felt like I was kind of just like asleep, like into like a rhythm with just one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. But I made friends with all the 24/7 convenience store people and gas station attendants.
Yeah. I had a bunch of new friends after that 2 weeks.
All over Facebook. Yeah, but that's ridiculous. The best I did was like a day, and that was just because I had to. So I would tip any hat I have for you.
I cannot not sleep, do overnights and stuff. I did it for 1 week and it was the worst for me.
I've only got a couple days, but it was a wild couple of days.
Was that like during Five Towns, like senior year, or like was that something else?
It was at five towns. It was mostly fueled by amphetamine pills.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's another side of him we'll maybe discuss.
I was gonna say I lost a lot of weight one summer. I gained it all back and more, so it's okay. I'm back to normal.
So many nights, so many problems. There's one time actually we were going to a shoot. I don't know how much I can disclose your past stories.
Go ahead, disclose all you want.
So
I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. So me and Ruben, we're wrapping up our senior thesis film.
Darren was there too.
Yes, he was, and so I'm driving, a big ass van that's well over 10 years old now, and it's very fragile. The van where the back left door will fly open if you don't have it welded shut, which conveniently Ruben's brother did for us. But anyways, we're driving into Queens. We're just shooting some small pickup shots, and Ruben decides to drive us back. I don't even know why.
I think I drove there.
You definitely drove at least one direction.
I'm pretty sure I drove there.
I don't know why we thought you could do that.
I think because you were like, you probably tired, like, don't worry, Matt, I'll take the wheel.
Yeah, because when we got back, literally an hour later, he forgot all about it. He had no recollection. He was like, how did
a couple. It was like a couple hours later. I think you're like, oh man, hey, so before we went and shot that shit in Queens, I'm like, shot what in Queens? And you almost like stopped to look at me like, you kidding? I'm like, no, what the hell are you guys talking about? And apparently it slipped my mind.
Yeah. Jesus, like that scared the hell out of me, knowing that like you weren't even like aware of what you were doing.
Sorry. Hey, at least it wasn't anything illegal.
Or illicit.
Are you serious? None of that, whatever you did wasn't illegal?
Oh, well, yes.
Apparently I missed something.
It was legal. Matt, now shut your mouth.
Where's mine?
I need another beer. I'm just Harold the Flair.
Sorry. I just stole Travis's beer. Son of a bitch. This one's barely drank.
You put your...
Wow.
This one's barely drank. Take that
Big
one.
lips.
Okay,
on
I have my
Ruben's
my 14-year-old Scotch, and I need to drive later, so it's you're juggling that perfect balance of buzz, but then sober later enough to go home.
Yo, random fact. What are logistics of crashing?
Why? You need to crash?
I'm just asking.
If you wish.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. All right. I might consider that avenue.
But it's gonna probably be difficult.
How so?
Because Andrew's probably gonna be sleeping on the couch upstairs.
You want to when we're all wrapped? You want to send me to the train?
Well, no. I don't care as long as you can find the train though. If you need to sleep here, you can.
Okay, word. I might. Well, depending on what happens, I'll take you up.
Oh, you can always sleep in my bed, baby.
Sorry, Liz. He's mine.
Push her out.
Hey, dog.
Carry on. You know there's a light, right? You don't have to stumble into the darkness.
It's kind of more fun.
Darkness.
I like to stumble around.
But Ruben, I think you were gonna say something before though about what were you talking about before that you said that was from a later story?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I wasn't talking about anything. It's all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
Me too. Oh, yes, my song.
Alright, I'm going to show you something and you got to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
Boston Lager.
No. Samuel Adams.
Always a good decision.
Thank you.
You need a bottle opener, I think, for that. Oh, there you go.
So, guys, we're all drummers here.
Yes.
Barrio's a drummer. I have a friend's drum set in my basement.
When I listen to music, I go...
So they were pretty wide, well-balanced audience. Socks on or off?
I play. Well, you're crossing a very interesting line, or you're posing an interesting question. Do you play with socks or shoes? Because most drummers play with shoes.
What I meant was barefoot or shoed.
I play with socks on.
Oh,
but I'm one of the few drummers that I know that do play with socks.
Okay, because I've seen a few drummers.
I've even seen a black metal drummer play with 3-inch heels. Like fucking Kiss boots.
Was it that cute black metal drummer that I posted that video on your Facebook?
Okay.
No.
Cute metal drummer.
No, there's this total like.
Oh, the chick that's playing Spheres of Madness? Not her. Hellhammer. Completely opposite.
Hellhammer from Mayhem?
Mayhem.
Oh, God. A bunch of savages. He had like Kiss boots on?
Hate Mayhem.
Well, why do you hate Mayhem?
Such terrible music.
It is terrible.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's more the stigma behind the band rather than their music.
If you want my
Oh,
opinion,
the storyline's great. The fucking music's atrocious.
Like, I would love to watch a biopic movie about Mayhem. It'd be great.
It exists.
Oh, that would be good. A biopic, really?
What's a biopic?
Like Notorious, the movie about Biggie Smalls. That was a biopic.
They were gonna make Lords of Chaos, the book that I have.
Oh, the black metal book.
But they some guy from Twilight was actually gonna play it.
Who?
Not Robert Patterson, but
The Jacob guy?
no, I think one of the guys
How do
from
you
Wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah, how do you know that? Let's go.
Jacob, put your shirt on.
No.
Because everybody at work talks about it.
Uh huh.
And I don't know.
oh yeah, no, they talk about.
Oh,
it.
speaking
I think
of
you
work,
talk about.
Can you describe your coworkers' Illuminati conspiracy / 2012 conspiracy? Because they haven't heard this yet, and I think it's very fascinating. They're crazy one.
Well, I have like a 20-year-old coworker.
Is she hot?
It's a he.
I'm not paying attention.
Is he muscular?
Dystrophy.
Does he have a 5 o'clock shadow and a 401k?
Well, we know who goes by at this table.
I'm just curious.
Anyways.
Curious.
Continue.
Well, apparently he believes all the Illuminati, 2012, all that stuff. And then he says by the time it comes, all the rapture and stuff, he will kidnap a space shuttle or a helicopter to space.
He's gonna
Like,
kidnap a helicopter into
Yeah.
space. Does he understand how physics works?
I know, that's the exact same question.
If we
and
help him, he'll never learn.
I'm like, how the hell are you gonna kidnap a space shuttle? Like, out of everybody, it's like, oh, I'm
Break
gonna kill
yourself, space
everybody
shuttle.
who comes in my way. Blah blah blah. I'm like, he's just an idiot.
Motherfucker, you ain't gonna do shit.
All right. Well, regarding his theories towards 2012, I think I want to believe it, not solely because I believe it, just because me and my friend Zach want to just do nothing but drink and celebrate every day as the last day ever.
But you can do that now. It's just a matter of time of when your liver's gonna give out.
Oh, no. But see, like, what we did on December 22nd was we had a party, toasting to the fact that this is the last December 22nd, and that's what we're just going to do until December 21st of 2012.
Okay.
So it's a fun little thing we're
So
going
it's
to do.
just gonna be two angry boys,
two angry alcoholics.
nonstop, just
Yeah.
nonstop.
So
Can't stop, won't
so
stop.
I would like the world to end solely because I can at least go out with a bang, because I hopefully will end my journey in Puerto Rico, getting hammered beyond belief.
You only
or die.
say Puerto Rico because you saw Rum Diary like
Yeah, I
a
know.
month and a half
Guilty
ago.
as charged.
I love Hunter S. Thompson.
Me too.
But
Big fan.
it's you and my friend Anthony have this, like, as long as the world's ending, I don't care that I'm dying too, because at least I'm going out with everyone. It pisses him off, the idea that stuff can go on without him. For me, it's the exact opposite. I like the idea of continuation.
I completely agree with you.
It hurts my feelings that the Earth will eventually, at the very least, get eaten by the sun.
Yo, my
It hurts my feelings.
I completely support what you're going for. Like, I have the biggest fear of like a meteor killing everyone all at once, and like, especially like seeing like me die with my family, because there's like, oh, let's have quality time before we go. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to, like, I honestly would rather die before the end of the world. But if the world does end, then it's like I could just stop giving a shit. Not so much as like I'm going down with the rest of the world, so much as like, all right, I know what my expiration date is,
But
so let's
the
just
thing
have
is,
fun.
like, remember I was telling you about false vacuum theory, where it's just like it can go
yeah.
poof, and then you just all disappear.
This is true.
The meta event.
Well, to be fair though, life is just a random anomaly to begin with, so might as well just enjoy it regardless.
And a black story.
That's good.
And on that note, I'm actually going to start a new segment on this podcast. Hi, Annie.
Before you start your new segment, I would like to announce I haven't really started writing it yet, but it's been kicking around the old noodle. I would been really excited to start working on a musical, and I'm looking for songwriters or choreographers. I want to make something called Forrest Gump the musical.
I really thought you were serious.
No,
I gotta be honest with you. I kind of like the idea.
See?
I love that movie. It's such a touching movie.
I love everything about it.
And it's already got such a great soundtrack going for it. All those hits.
Oh, I know.
You know they're making Rocky the musical, and it's gonna be like co-produced by Sylvester Stallone.
It better be, or else it's not Rocky.
And you know the funny thing is they're using Eye of the Tiger, but that didn't come around until Rocky 2.
You're right.
And on that note, I'm gonna start a new segment on that we've never done before, that we actually touched upon on one mic about talking about space and physics. So a little segment that I like to call the Drunken Cosmonaut. So what the Drunken Cosmonaut consists of is Travis happens to be. Do you know how much Russian you are? Or a percentage?
My great-grandfather is off the boat political asylum from the Ukraine during the Russian Revolution.
He was from the Gulag.
In 1918. Yeah.
He went to Gulag,
So,
yeah.
He was 18 years old. He had to get smuggled across in a cargo ship and ended up in Brooklyn.
Wow. Damn. Which is just as bad as being in a cargo ship.
But to be honest, the majority of me is Ecuadorian. That's my direct grandfather.
What I actually forgot completely to tell you is I wanted you to wear your Russian 2-point hat, or what is it, 3-point hat? The one that you have that they brought back from back in.
Oh, the one that John got
just
from
to give
Berlin.
just so I can have a picture of this to put up on the website. You just like this.
We gotta do it before.
That's true. That's true. Well, we can do it tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow during New Year's.
All right. Well, New Year's Eve, I was gonna shave with Anthony. And then we're gonna slap
Before that.
Like, will you?
Oh, is that how it's gonna go down? I know that's how it's gonna go down.
Yeah, we decided to punk out the same way Eric and Brendan punked out by being the first together. We figured we'd be the last together.
That it's kind of
slap
it's
each
cute.
other.
It's very cute.
Can I say that as a man?
I've said a lot of things are cute.
But anyway, going back to the topic, what is this week's topic or this week's interesting, fun little ditty?
You tell me. You're the one in charge.
Well, do you want to go with the one that I was suggesting, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll do my best.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we could talk about. We already talked about. What did you talk? You talked about Schrodinger's cat, which was last time.
Yeah,
but I want to combine it, like either physics or just something that's just like far out there. I mean, whether it be psychology or whether it be and just anything in general that tickles your fancy. Because we've always talked about when we were younger about things keeping us up at night or things that are just baffling to, I was telling them during dinner that we are such a complex organism, but yet we know so little about everything, and it just bothers us. Like, we just found we almost found this Higgs boson Higgs boson particle the other day, and
the Higgs boson, it's a part of quantum particle physics, but it's not quite a particle. The boson it's a force. It's a force within subatomic particles. Mm-hmm. The Higgs boson is one that's been missing for some time. It's when you come down to particles, you have bosons and fermions. Fermions are kind of like matter. You can only have one fermion in space at any time. Like only one can occupy a certain point in space. That's why you can't move through solid objects. It's called the Pleyel's force or something like that.
So some sort of barrier in between objects.
Well,
right?
it's a fermion. It's something that actually occupies a point in space. It's a subatomic particle that occupies a point in space. And you can only have one. They can't mix. Mm-hmm. A boson is a force and a subatomic particle at the same time. You can have an infinite number of bosons in the same point in space. So it's yeah.
So everything's mixed together, or
well, that's when you get into something called supersymmetry, which is for every boson or subatomic particle that's a force, you also need a fermion, a corresponding fermion, which is a subatomic particle that occupies a space.
Occupy space.
I know. We are the 99%. Sort of like every action creates an equal but opposite reaction.
That could be kind of a part of it. That's more Newtonian classical physics, not so much quantum physics. But yeah, it's kind of it's symmetry. It's
but
it's called supersymmetry.
Now
it's only theoretical.
The barrier that you're talking about, is that like the same barrier that like Voyager 2 is actually going to pass through? Like, you know about that barrier in space that
no,
is
it's
like...
no. I'm talking.
You're talking about physical, like
I'm talking.
I'm trying to think of what you're...
Because matter also consists of energy and forces, stuff that can kind of like pass... Like, an X-ray is actually matter, but it can pass through us. It takes something like lead to stop it.
Yeah.
Because of the density differentiation. But when you get to smaller and smaller scale, I mean, you're talking about things that... like, and then we end up in strings, which is like the smallest thing. It's 10 to the negative 33rd centimeters. That's a millionth of a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a centimeter. And that's the next step. The step before that is bosons and fermions.
But that's what they theorize as subatomic. Like, that's the size of a subatomic particle, or is
well, there's varying degrees of subatomic particles.
Right, no, I know that. I know that.
That's just
but
one.
That's insane that they have a calculation for that. That they actually put, like, almost like a tangible number.
10 to the negative, that's how the math works. And I don't pretend to understand the math at all. To quote Joe Rogan, I'm not a smart person, I just read what the smart people write.
That's actually brilliant. That's brilliant.
That involves, like, calculus and stuff.
Oh, it's calculus, and then it's also called abstract approximation.
Yeah.
Because this goes now to Einstein's theory of relativity, where space-time encompasses everything. It has a curvature, and even your actions in space-time is a part of space-time, and you can't really account for that. Yeah. It's everything all at once.
Right.
So what you do then is you need an abstract approximation. You have to cut it off at one point and say this is close enough. And calculus is based off of the principle that you take like a circle, and you take the curvature of the circle, and you take the tangent to the curve, and that's your point. That's as close as you can get to saying, hey, here, this is where it's happening.
And they're trying to disprove right now Einstein's theory as far as because of the subatomic particles.
Alright, no, it's Newtonian. That's
what I meant.
That's where string theory comes into play. It's it's called Einstein built upon Newtonian physics. Like, Newton had a great mind. He was definitely like launched us into this, and then Einstein kind of like he's been brilliant, and he's made it so that we can actually see the way galactic bodies react to Newtonian classical physics, and it's evolved into a thing that's called relative field theory, and that works on the galactic scale with stars, planets, gravitation, everything. But it doesn't quite work the same as on the subatomic particle level. It's like it's all relative to size, like how small you can get and how big you can get, and the plane that we exist on is like it's just one small layer that's in between the universe, the size of the universe, and whatever the fuck's beyond the universe, and the that's so small to the 10 to the negative 33rd centimeters.
It just boggles my mind that they actually have the inability to theorize how small that subatomic particle is.
I can't even fathom it.
It's just crazy the fact that someone in Greek,
that's Euclidean geometry, which
no, like the Hellenic days of where they theorize,
which gives us the triangles and the circles that we get our calculus from. But
next time, I was just closing with the fact that someone actually theorized that there is something small like an atom during the Greek or the Hellenic days, where they're like, yeah, everything is made out of just like this, but they didn't understand what it was because they didn't have any scientific way of proving that theory.
That's wild that they knew that though. Like even
they thought of it
thousands of years ago. They're like, oh, there's something small that we can't see that makes the greater good.
But back then too, they even assumed that it was throughout human history, you always have competing theories when it comes to science, and it's slowly through attrition you figure out which ones stand the test of time. Like back then, you had a ton of different theories
Right,
going
right.
on, including the idea that everything was, like the subatomic particles were base elements. Everything was a mixture of earth, wind, water, and fire. And if you're Japanese,
Oh,
void.
thank you.
You know, it's funny though.
Japanese.
Void.
Listening to
By
Joe
the
Rogan's
fires.
listening to Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, someone said about how like all the stuff that he's taught as a doctor is now wrong, and the history needs to rewrite it. And they're saying that in order to rewrite, like let's say science books, textbooks, or like the order of science, it's unfortunate that the people that believe what they believe in and have been teaching this have to die off first in order for the new breed to regenerate. It's the same thing that you were just like trying to explain. And
The old in with the new.
that's this episode's edition of Drunken Cosmonaut, which is actually
Oh, we
awesome.
didn't really get that deep into
It
string
doesn't matter.
theory.
It doesn't matter.
Skipped over.
You went to different. You went to.
Well, string theory is the idea. It's supposed to be the theory that bridges all physics, but
Yeah.
that's what he was trying to. I was
It's
trying to
strings all
describe it
together?
to
Is
you
that
like
why
as
it's
best as
string theory?
possible.
No,
well,
but-
no,
Right.
it's string theory. It's because the actual idea is that it's like a string. The subatomic particle that's even
Connecting the
smaller.
two dots, right?
Not quite.
Oh.
It's more like think of like a ball of yarn. Like if you have a sphere, a ball of yarn is that string, and it's able to be an individual linear space and also wrap around in a spherical way. And the strings are actually, and this is also what's called string theory, is to compare it to the idea of a musical instrument. The strings on a guitar.
So
And
you can pluck it and it vibrates and
it
things like that.
yes, exactly. And you have to think of the idea of it being plucked and vibrating as excited energy states. Like how much energy is pumping through it is how it's oscillating, vibrating, how tight it is.
Yeah.
And each musical note that you hear is the creation of a subatomic particle.
Oh.
Strings actually lead, because like the ball of yarn, that's
Yeah.
the subatomic particle, and it's made of the string. And depending on how that string is energized, is the subatomic particle you get.
So creating different alternatives towards every action. Probably not. Maybe.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
all right. It all boils down to math, which is like the language that it's just math is the language that exists in order to try to attempt to describe the universe and nature, how we see nature. It's just to describe that. And what
agree with
comes
that.
into nature the most is motion. Wave my hand erratically, which is incredibly hard to describe because it's it's how do you exactly track my hand going like this in a language? It's occupying three-dimensional space. It's occupying time. You can't really take a still of it, but it was there at a certain point. But now it's there. It's
Yeah.
and so you get complex calculus and differentials approaching limits and extremes. And when it comes to subatomic particles, you have so much shit going on. You have energy couplings going on. You have distances. You have charges. And it's just the idea of whether it's matter, and then you also have the space-time dimensions of direction, three-dimensional time, and now I'm just kind of rambling.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with strings is that the math works if you include strings for both subatomic quantum physics and classical field theory, which is Einstein. Because Einstein's math had trouble with like gravity and everything once you got to a 0 point. And strings, because of the nature of the string, they can the specific point, like the absolute like smallest point you can get with a string is still an area.
Okay.
So it
it's occupying
allows
something.
It allows
So it's no such thing as nothing.
kind
Don't
of.
forget.
That will be next week's rant with false vacuum theory. Because
And here's oh wait, yeah. Let's
But
save
that-
some
but
for
that-
more
yeah,
future
but that's-
things.
so
I was
that's-
gonna say like, that reminded me of back what you were saying with what they were trying to prove with
Right.
Einstein, which they're actually
Right.
that's the cosmic constant
right.
and everything.
And now that's this week's episode of Drunken.
New topic, quick! Someone current events.
Did you say you watched a very, very, very interesting documentary on our dear great leader, Kim Jong Il?
I was just gonna say, I think he died, right?
Yes. yes, he
Why? Way to spoil the mood.
I guess he's
all
not
the
so-
Marxists out there that will remain nameless have to now weep in front of the great. What is it?
the dear leader.
The dear leader.
His father,
Yeah,
Kim
Jong-il.
Kim
Not mine.
Sung,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, is the great leader.
So it's great leader, and then now his son Kim Jong Un
Kim Jong Un, yes,
is now just gonna continue.
he's gonna continue
ruling
the
country.
yes, continue the.
But what is Kim Jong Il's many achievements
Well,
besides being the democratically elected official of North Korea? Because you know it's called
the Democratic Socialist Workers Party of.
Do they really have elections? I thought that was just
No,
No, it's just called that on paper.
Shut up! They don't even know what
It's
balance.
just called that on paper.
Have you ever noticed that all communist parties have like the coolest sounding names,
Right.
but they have nothing to do with what with.
Well, because the whole joke is communism works on paper; it doesn't work in theory because
Yeah, exactly.
everybody becomes a dictator or.
You know, they always
Correction.
start off with a revolution with good intentions.
It's a revolution. Start dancing.
There's
We need all
revolution,
your
there's
aluminum
dancing,
foil.
and then it goes like this.
But
Which is the sound
what
of-
is what is his achievements?
I was trying to find them on the internet, so I couldn't, but I remember a few. I know he's Hennessy's best customer.
I know. You know how much he spent in 1 year?
Thousands
$800,000 on Hennessy.
on Hennessy.
Hen-
He puts
So he died of cirrhosis, correct?
God willing. Hennessy had come out publicly and said like, yeah, he's our best client. Like $800,000 on Hennessy? That's insane in 1 year.
Well, that puts all rappers to shame.
I know. P Diddy, he's got nothing.
Oh, P Diddy ain't got shit on Kim. He also was a purveyor of roasted donkey meat.
No way.
Yes, that was one of his favorite foods.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was
What would that
reading,
taste
there was a chef that defected from North Korea, his personal chef.
He had
And
several
he said
personal
that
chefs.
because of all the stuff that they had to import, it costs thousands of dollars per dinner. To like, and
Oh yeah.
it's actually on the record. He said that Kim Il Sung, his son, was saying like, how do we live in a state of vacation every day when our people are starving? And that's what everybody led to believe that he would be a different leader. But North Korean officials were still like, no, it's just business. This is fucking usual.
Yeah, they have advisors. He listens to them.
Yeah, I know.
They're just there. I've seen a couple of I've been just interested in Kim ever since I found out like he died. And I saw like a news thing about like, all right, this guy is a complete psychopath. Like, but I've seen a few documentaries about him, and it's just the way they do shit over there is just like ass backwards. Mm-hmm. Like they have at the 38th parallel at the border between North and South Korea, they have an old fashioned Russian hand crank powered phone, and usually the North Koreans don't answer. So what they'll do is the American on the southern end will grab a translator, and he'll tell him what to say, and he'll yell it through the loudspeaker, and then like that's how they pass messages, because there's what's called, they like to be very self-reliant even though it's clearly not working. Because just thousands of people apparently die of starvation. Famine is rampant.
It is.
There's the people who are like, I guess, in our age group, since like they didn't have nearly like any like the food that we ever had, or like any like the proper nourishments, what have you. They're like about like a foot shorter and a couple like maybe 20-30 pounds lighter than they should be.
But to be fair, they probably don't have AIDS over there.
Yeah, they probably. We'll never know. I mean, those are just some of the few facts. I'm still just kind of like in the midst of my re-education, so to speak. So,
But it's ridiculous. Isn't he also the founder of the internet?
yes. From what I've heard, he founded the internet. Also, you were telling me before, he's an accomplished filmmaker.
Oh,
He
world renowned.
world renowned. He's written a few books.
Not only does he make films, but he kidnaps Japanese filmmakers and whatchamacallit,
South Korean filmmakers and
South Korean
and their actors'
filmmakers and
wives.
actresses, and remakes movies. And there's at the Great Academy for Film, which is not an Academy of Film where they would be making films. It's actually just a shrine to Kim Jong Il, and he on 1,600 separate occasions gave personal guidance, quote, to people randomly on film sets, and he is the sole person who created multi-camera shooting.
Yes. There was we were trying to shoot a scene that would have taken several days to shoot, and with the advent of multi-cam shooting, they were able to accomplish it in under 8 hours, which is frankly a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's great. I mean, who would have thought that some
Adding a
guy
second
who
camera.
wears all black and drinks Hennessy and has stunner shades on would have created multicam shooting?
Actually, that kind of seems logical.
Yeah, that's not that far off. Another thing I like to point out is he's also world renowned as a fashion trendsetter.
Yes.
People all through Far East and West. North
So
and South
wait, are you telling me that Neo from the Matrix was inspired by?
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
my
you're
God.
absolutely
Neo from the
correct.
Matrix.
And he knows kung fu.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
And
show
he-
him. And when the dear great leader died, it was snowing during his 2-day funeral.
Yes, because his mood affects the weather.
Yes, and because the sky is weeping, who would not cry when the great leader has died?
Exactly. It was
That
also
really happened?
Yes,
Yeah.
no, and some general said the sky is crying because the great leader is dead.
that is an eerie convenience.
Frozen tears of sadness, Bauer.
Yeah.
Frozen tears.
I hope it's not sleeting.
It's insane. He's crazy. You know, there's a lot of people that speculate like 2 years ago he had a stroke. That's why he was like with the glasses and whatnot. Like it's
Huh.
insane.
I thought he always wore glasses.
No, he's just what was it? Hello.
I just felt like that was just part of his look.
So wrong.
I think he had like regular glasses, and then they switched to shades.
Oh, okay. Well, how would shades cover up a stroke?
Because you don't see the
'Cause-
DBI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a stroke.
but
Sorry.
he stroked out like Dick Clark.
What exactly happens during a stroke? Is that when blood stops going to your brain? Or oxygen stops going to your brain?
I think a stroke is lack of no. That's a stroke is your
Or is that
brain.
a seizure?
It's like the same thing like a heart attack, but it happens to your brain.
It's usually caused by a blood clot.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's blood clot to the brain.
Big D just died of blood clot. That famous rapper, or he died like a couple of months ago. What was the rapper that Andrew was talking about the other night?
Big
Dog?
pun.
No, not Big Pun. The one
Big
that
Pun
he had.
died years ago. No, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it was something like he had a blood clot on a plane or something like that.
A bomba clot, bad boy. Oh, your dog just woke up when you said that.
I know.
Like I'm gonna kill you.
Like on cue, she's like, "Oh, you blood clot, bad boy."
I forgot which one.
You
I
rude
don't
boy.
remember.
Not
But,
Nate Dogg, right?
Hmm?
Not
No,
Nate
Nate Dogg died
No.
last summer actually, because I was at Rock the Bells.
I thought he died this past summer.
No.
No, he did because they were talking about people who died
I think
during
I saw it in
11,
the
and he was one
Guardian.
of them.
Like I was like, oh, why is this in the Guardian? And apparently,
And
he
then like
passed
that,
away.
the comedian died like 2 weeks later.
Oh,
too, right?
Oh, Greg Giraldo.
no.
Yeah.
What's his
No,
name?
he died a while ago.
Oh, okay. He's the only comedian I know who died.
the,
Joe
another
Rogan
fat
was
black
talking
guy.
about it.
Patrice O'Neal. Right?
Patrice
Yes,
O'Neal.
Ah,
yeah.
damn, he was hilarious at Charlie Sheen's
Yeah.
roast.
Yeah, he was a good comedian. And he will be missed, as the Hollywood Babylon says. But
As long as Louis C.K. is okay.
Yeah, right.
his new bit is hysterical. If
Oh,
you want me to give it to you, I'll I
please.
have it.
I need to take a look
I
at it
love
because
it.
I love his stand-up.
It's
He's
so
hysterical.
brilliant.
Does
He
anyone
played-
have season 2 by chance of Louis? Because
Darren told
I
me to
watched
watch
it
it. It
on
looks
Hulu,
good.
so-
Oh, it's
Is it
on
good?
Hulu?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
Well, it was on Hulu. I don't
Well,
know if
Louis
it's
is good,
on
but I like his stand-up better. Like I just
Yeah,
I get
I'm
more
on the
out of
same
it.
way.
Well, that's what Louis. It's half stand up, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like Seinfeld. Like I'll just cut to him in a comedy
He's
club.
really
True,
funny.
but
though,
he's
on
in
Parks.
Parks well.
On Parks and Recreation, he's on it for
He's
like
on
four.
it?
He's
See,
on
that's
like
the thing.
4
That was when I
episodes.
first
He plays
saw
a
him.
cop.
I didn't know Louis C.K. before I saw him in that, and I wasn't. I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't really that impressed. I was like, oh, this is just a very monotone dude. But then when I saw his stand up,
Suck a bag of dicks.
It's baguette dicks.
Oh, baguette.
But it's like what is a bag of dicks? It's like baguettes. It's like like dicks sticking out of the top of it.
I
You know?
definitely earned a lot of respect though when I saw.
Oh
Louis,
look,
though.
Newt Gingrich
That's
is
what's up.
crying.
When I saw Louis,
boy.
as well as his stand up when they did a bidding farewell to George Carlin, and he was supposed to be the closing act, and he was like, well, I'm supposed to say something like, really funny and close it up, but he's like, I can't do that, this guy means so much to me, and he was releasing a lot of insight as well as just humor, just in general about the guy.
Yeah.
But it's not too much of a random fact, but random fact, he was talking at that farewell thing about George Carlin where there was an interview by Carlin, and this was before Louis, CK became who he was today, because he was just a horrible comedian in the beginning, he said, and he saw an interview with George Carlin, and someone was asking him, like, well, where do you get all your new material from? And George was like, well, I grab all the stuff I've done for the year, and I just throw it out the window on the new year, and I just make up whole new material all over again, and I keep doing that, and Lewis is like, how is that possible? How do you come up with all that stuff? It's just, but then it worked for me, and then you just gotta be a creative person on all fronts, especially with comedian work. I want to be a comedian. I'm gonna lose. Actually, I want to do stand up just to know that I'm bad at it. so I could stop thinking that I want to do
Well,
it.
Joe Rogan says that you don't have to worry. The whole point of his stand-up is you're not supposed to worry about what he calls killing it every night. Like, you're gonna bomb. Like, bombing is one of the worst things ever imaginable. And in order for you, it's like almost like learning through, like,
Yeah, you gotta fuck
trauma
up
era
sometimes.
and like baptism under fire. It's like if you bomb, you understand what's wrong with it and you fix it and you go out there.
Yeah.
But like, you don't need to be like the funniest, like, or like the best, or like he was talking about comedians saying don't talk, like, for instance, if one of the lead acts said like something about farm animals in his joke, he said he would tell the comedian before him, don't talk about farm animals, because he was so obsessed with killing it every night after night after night. But like, the whole point is that to like be yourself up there and just let it flow naturally, and you don't need to kill it every night, because people get in their head that like, I have to be funny, no, but
I kind of like purposely. I don't want to say I don't want to be funny. I just want to like, because the thing is, a lot of us, we all laugh at things between us friends, like inside jokes, and it's like, I know for a fact half the things, if not more, that I say to my fellow friends is not going to be funny to anyone else.
The context.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's why I want to do it just to
But
know.
a beautiful thing that happens, though, with comedians is after you watch them for about 20 minutes, let's say it's a 45-minute act,
Yeah.
and you into 20 minutes, I'm trying to put it into words, like, you understand where they're coming from, so then their jokes, their, like, whatever they would be inside jokes, become your jokes because you're sharing the same moment as them. So, like, if you know, like, his delivery or his or her delivery or his or her attitude on a specific statement, you know this because he's already eased you into his life or his persona, and you then are able to laugh at his jokes, or something that wouldn't be funny to you. You would be able to laugh because you're already sharing the same mind state as him. And I think that's what makes a really good comedian, is that he's allowed you to grasp you and pull yourself into your world. Like, for instance, if Louis C.K. came out and just said like, I want to fuck a deer in the face, and then give it AIDS so it dies, you'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? But like, if he's eased you in as to saying like, oh, he's that type of comedian. Like, if he's a dirty comedian, if he's a clean comedian, if he's an over-the-top comedian, he's already eased you into that. One person who actually doesn't do that is Sam Kinison. He just pummels you right off the bat. Like,
Yeah, I've never liked Kinnison.
Kinison
Maybe for that reason.
Kinison is really...
I like Mitch Hedberg, who is kind of like close to the same, like, where it's just like it's right up front.
So then,
But Mitch
what
Hedberg
about
had the
Kinnison?
best delivery though.
Kinnison is like abrasive. Like, he's just like, it's like, fuck, enough of you already. Let me move on. Where Mitch Hedberg is like, he had like this like kind of quirky attitude about it that made me like, all right, that's good, that's funny. Then it'd be
This
like
is what I'll say
one-liner
about
after
Kinnison.
one-liner. But it's
I
good.
started watching Kinison, and he was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But since he died at such a very young age, very early, like before his
So
time.
did Mitch Hedberg.
Before his time, not early, but he died. He got hit by a car. The only surviving material is the same material over and over again. Now, mind you, maybe he would have crashed and burned because the only material is so like X-rated. But that's what I find. Like, once you listen to one of Sam Kinnison's acts, you practically have heard them all. Like, it's the same.
It's the same one. Stuff like gets repetitive. There was this guy
He
I
just
actually
yells.
would have seen live. It was Gabriel Iglesias. This really hefty Hawaiian dude.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He was really the stuff I saw on YouTube and everything, and on Comedy Central, like his stand up. It was just, he had great stories to tell, and he did great voices. But the problem was, I would see like a different YouTube video from playing elsewhere, and it ended up becoming like the same 4 different jokes.
Right. That's the
and
problem that
bugged me.
Kinison walked into, which was like he was trying to go more over the top, and what's more over the top than he likes, and then it's always coming back to the women that fucked him, or the 2 marriages he's been in, and just compiling off of that information.
I see.
But yeah,
Comedians.
yeah,
Aha.
indeed. I think that concludes this episode of Counting Sheep.
What's the running time on this one?
Yeah,
We
seriously.
have been going for 50 minutes.
Oh wow!
All right.
Twice as
I think
long as the last
we can
one.
squeak out another 10.
Right.
Squeak out another
Well-
10.
I'm getting a little tired. That's why.
Well, we'll save that for the next episode.
Oh man, I just got my buzz going.
Sorry.
That doesn't mean we have to stop. I'm just cutting it off of this because we have to do time constraints.
I mean,
So
we're not going to use all 60 minutes, are we?
yes, it's like Tom Brokaw. 60 minutes, baby. So,
He died, right?
huh?
He died, or the narrator.
Brokaw? No, that was the guy from Good Morning
No,
America.
he's talking
Not
about
Good Morning.
no, he's talking about someone from 60 Minutes. It was a real old
The
guy.
old
He used
guy.
to be a paper writer too.
Oh,
He
okay.
used to do
his
just a
name.
segment on 60 Minutes.
Oh,
where
I thought he was
just
the voice.
complain a lot.
I thought he was the voiceover dude. All right, well,
Anyway,
he's gonna complain out.
so that's
it.
Yeah, that's it.
Matt.
Elizabeth.
Oh, Ruben.
Elizabeth, you're such a blabbermouth. I just wanna
Minister
point that out
of,
there. You gotta let other
information.
people talk. Don't take up all
Elizabeth,
the attention.
shut the
I told you I didn't want
Travis, the Drunken
Okay, then we'll calm
Cosmonaut.
down. That's good.
And I'm Sheep, and you're counting on me.
Be